Hey, good morning. Welcome to the JeepSolid Garage. I hope you all had a great holiday. Things were very busy here in my household, but we're gonna get back at it, and today we're actually testing the coolant in our Jeeps. Now this is an often overlooked, honestly it recommends testing your coolant or checking your coolant, flushing and replacing your coolant every 30,000 miles or 24 months. Now honestly, really, who does that? I'm terrible at that. I have 3 Jeeps, so I would be changing and flushing coolant all the time. But it's actually a very important thing, so we're going to take a look at that. Now this video is not just about using a hydrometer to check the concentration of coolant in your system, which is very important, but honestly that only tells you half the story. Coolants have an additive in them to prevent corrosion, which is a big killer of a lot of seals and can cause leaks and plug up a lot of small passages in your cooling system. So the other half of the story is you need to really be using these AccuTest test strips. This video is sponsored by AMSOIL. They gave me these test strips for free, but these are a very handy tool and very simple to use. Now first we're going to look at my Project 92 YJ. The coolant in this I know looks actually pretty good. We'll go look at my 94 YJ in a bit, and the coolant in that, it actually looks really bad, so that'll be interesting. The very first thing we're going to do, you need to make sure your engine is cool, right? You don't want to open up a hot system, have things blow out all over you. So let's take the cap off here. And on visual inspection of this actually looks really good. The couple things we're looking at, we're looking to make sure that the fluid is a nice clear color that you can see through it. It's not all milky or rusty looking. Now let's go ahead and check it with our hydrometer because we have it here, and why not? It's fun to do. So we're just going to fill this up with, if I can get enough fluid in it, there we go. And this tells me with the number of floating balls, so I have 4 floating balls there. So it's protected down to negative 25 degrees. That's pretty good. And the fluid looks a nice clear color. So yeah, that tells us that we're protected down to that temperature, but like I said earlier, that only tells us half the story. It doesn't tell us the quality of the coolant in here, if it's providing enough corrosion protection. That's where our test strips are super handy. Not only will it tell us the freezing point and the boiling point, right, that we're protected in our proper range, but it also has a reserve alkalinity. So as your coolant and your engine and everything is running, it builds up some electrolysis, which breaks down your coolant, and it turns acidic. So it starts causing more corrosion, more rust, which can plug up all the little passageways, plug up your radiator, start causing corrosion and leaking, just bad problems. So you want to use these little test strips. Let me show you how real quick. So now we're just going to open up our little test strip, and we're simply going to get it wet in the coolant here. And then after 40 seconds we're going to compare it. You have red coolant and all other. This is a green coolant. We're going to compare it on this side. So we're just going to match up the color. Looks like we are right down here. So it looks like we're down here between the minus 34 to minus 60. Up into the 270, 265 range, so that's okay. Then we're going to go on to step 2, which is the reserve alkalinity, and this is what is our rust preventer. If the color pad is 636 or greater, coolant is good. If that is less. So then on to step 2, we're comparing the reserve alkalinity, and we're kind of in that danger zone where it's more orange. We're not above the 6.6 where we have the nice green. So we need to go to step 3 where we're looking at the pH. Now the pH looks like it's right about 7.5, which is in that okay range. So this coolant I think is still good. It looks good, it's nice and clean, the pH is okay. It has enough reserve alkalinity left in it that I think it'll prevent corrosion. But I'm still close to that danger zone, so something to kind of keep an eye on. Now here on my daily driver, I really expect this to be kind of poor looking. So last time I had this off, I could see all this brown goo on the cap here, and then you can see on the inside here, you know, as we talked about, the fluid should be clear, and this is all just brown. There's a lot of sediment in there. You can see all the sediment around the edge of the lip here. But just for fun, let's go ahead and test it anyways. I'm going to use a little bulb here, a little suction bulb. Anybody know what that is? Anybody know what that's from? Any parents out there? You might recognize it. So let's take a little out because I just want to get a real good look at the sediment and the clarity of it. So you can see there, that's what I'm talking about. Just It's not clear, there's a lot of sediment in it, so that's just not good looking fluid. So this will really, obviously there's already corrosion going on, breaking down the inside of my engine, some of my seals, ruining the radiator, just not good things happening inside there. But just for the fun of it, let's go ahead and test it. Put our dipstick in there. So here we are, all other coolants. So yeah, it's protecting at, gosh, I'd say the minus 13,262, somewhere around there, maybe a little bit above it. So not terrible, but the reserve alkalinity, boy, that is just awful. It is well below 3 there, not good. So let's go to the nearest one here, the pH. Yeah, it's below that 7.5, not quite 6.5, so down around 7, which is what, pH neutral. So the pH is actually surprisingly better than I thought it would be, but with the clarity of this, all the sediment and junk in there, I know it's causing corrosion already, so this system definitely needs to be flushed and replaced. So let me know what you guys think. If you actually replace or flush your system every 2 years or 30,000 miles, like, I'm really impressed. Leave a comment down below. Check out my next video right up here, and thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.